the most exciting thing is renewals. But it's like renewals part one because the CW is only sitting on some of them.
Yeah, they're acting out this year.
They are. I don't appreciate it.
No.
It kind of feels like one of them, like in years from now, they'll say, where were you when this happened? And with the whole like uncertainty around the whole like the CW sale, no one knew whether the shows would get renewed. I mean, we kind of predicted they would get renewed or there'd be at least some form of a future for the network. But like everybody's been wondering what's the future of each of the shows look like. And then after missing their slot, their early renewal slot that they send out every year, they randomly just dropped one night during the week, and like nobody kind of anticipated it because we were kind of now waiting like, oh, they will, if they missed that slot, we'll see it at upfronts. And upfronts is still a while away. So to miss the early renewal slots and still go down the early renewals channel, it was quite a shock, particularly with the ones they've chosen. And we'll get into that. But like some of them were dead certs, but another one or two might have been a slightly surprising choice for some fandoms. But it's definitely a different approach they've taken this year.
For sure. I mean, the ones that were definitely certain, like we were like, oh, not surprising. Like All Americans getting a season 5, The Flash is getting a season 9. Out of all the CW shows, everyone knew The Flash was coming back. They were quite loud about Grant Gustin negotiating his contract for season 9. Superman and Lois for season 3. Again, not surprising. Nora Walker's not coming through season 3. Riverdale season 7 might be surprising to some people, but that is because they count this show out. Like, it doesn't matter what the ratings are, okay? It's Riverdale. But what was surprising, and I'm very excited for the Drew crew, Nancy Drew got a season 4.
Isn't that amazing? When the list first came out, we were like, okay, one of these things isn't quite like the others, because the others were definitely locks. And Nancy Drew had like a huge fan campaign behind it for season 4. So it's one of the shows that could have gone either way. And to see it in this particular group, I feel like that says a lot about the show. Unless the CW is like, we're going to do it anyway. Let's just give it to them now.
And I think it does say a lot about what Nancy Drew brings to the CW. Mainly because when the news was dropped, Mark Padowitz, the CEO, was talking about how these shows were basically tentpoles for the CW. They do well for the network, especially when they're with their digital strategy, and they're constantly getting buzz. They're constantly being talked about on social media. So, and Nancy Drew has been a part of that conversation. Like you said, Reed, the huge, loud campaign for renewal.
I'm very happy for them because usually when you see like there's this like one of the smaller shows with such a like passionate core fan base, and when it comes to renewal times, a lot of the times you'll see with the other networks that's sadly not enough. So I'm sure a lot of people wrote Nancy Drew off or said if the CW wasn't going to go ahead with any show, that might have been one that was more dangerous. So it's really nice to see, because I know there were rumors that it would be one of the ones that didn't get taken ahead. So it's really nice to see that their hard work paid off. There is clearly a fan base for this show. They showed up and like it paid off in the end, because I seen the reaction on Twitter afterwards. You're like, oh, hold on a minute, there are a lot of fans for this show. So I'm glad their hard work paid off for them.
It does make me wonder though, like why this bubble show? Why did this bubble show get renewed in this first group when there are so many others? It's just kind of confusing to me. Not necessarily in a bad way, because just because they haven't been renewed yet doesn't mean they're all canceled, obviously, because there's still like 12 shows that they haven't announced. But there are so many other bubble shows that some might believe are more popular than Nancy Drew on any kind of metric, whether it's social media, viewership, otherwise. I'm still just curious as to like what went into the decision specifically for Nancy Drew to go through this route. No hate to it, but it's just like kind of like, okay, where are we at?
It might have to do with the spinoff. Because Tom Swift is coming. Again, we don't know when Tom Swift is coming. I mean, I know it's still early in 2022, but I just feel like we should know whether or not it's supposed to come in the fall of this year. There's been casting news and we talked about it, but other than that, it's been a little quiet on the Tom Swift front. But I'm assuming part of the renewal was because they knew that they were dropping a Nancy Drew spinoff at some point. And you can't have the original show off air, like to cancel it and then still want to drop your spin-off series if you haven't already alienated that fan base. But also, Nancy Drew might be popping more on streaming than people realize, even if
true.
they don't seem to be they do have a loud fan base, but there might be like louder fandoms. But Nancy Drew might have just the ratings going for them. I feel like, but the Batwoman and Legends of Tomorrow fans that would be like, girl, please, they're not louder than us.
Yeah, that's what I'm
So-
saying. Like, I'm surprised out of the shows that didn't get renewed, I'm surprised probably the most that Batwoman wasn't included. And I know the fans are kind of worried about it. I'm, as someone who doesn't watch the show, I'm not particularly, I don't see it going anywhere. Like, it just doesn't seem like the kind of show that they would cut ties with so soon.
Yeah,
It's
that's
quite-
why I don't think I don't want to be nervous about them.
Yeah.
And it's quite interesting because I think the thing that makes people most nervous is because usually when the CW drops its batch of early renewals, the Arrowverse is together as a batch. So the fact that they've split them up this year, so Superman and Lois and the Flash were the two that instantly got renewals, and then Legends and Batwoman. And ever since Legends of Tomorrow has been on the air, it has been part of that early renewals deal. Literally, it's been one of the Arrowverse shows that's always got renewed. And I don't know whether it's just because the Arrowverse has kind of gotten more diversified as it's gone on, because those shows aren't all interconnected as much anymore, or whether it's down to the fact that maybe the network going for a new look, or maybe it's the new potential buyer has a say in it. Maybe when they only had so many early renewals to announce and they didn't want to stick it with the same genre, because there are a lot of Arrowverse shows, and if you renew 7 of your shows, 4 of them are automatically superhero shows. Maybe they didn't want to do that. Maybe they're clearing the decks for the future superhero shows. I still don't see them cancelling mainstay shows like those without giving them final seasons. It doesn't feel right to me, especially when both seasons set up new stories. It would be kind of disrespectful, if I'm honest. And I feel like Batwoman and Legends have both been around for long enough, Legends in particular, to warrant getting to finish their story. These characters are too important to the CW and the Arrowverse just to cut them off because they're making way for new shows. And I don't care if it's a new era, and I don't mean to get mean or like vocal about that, but like, these shows have core audiences, these shows have core fan bases, and the fact is they brought in a lot of eyeballs to the network over the years. The very least the network could do in return is give them that chance to bow out and grace that they deserve. So I'm not saying they won't get that. They absolutely deserve that. I'm just using this platform to say why they should.
Pop off, Michael, pop off.
No, but like, okay, so the argument being made is that the shows that have been renewed thus far are their strongest, they feel, for the network in terms of maybe not live viewership, but streaming and digital. Then I would think that the next tier would be the shows that are steady for them. They know that they'll be fine. They know that they're solid. They have a solid fan base, that the fans tune in regularly and they're not going anywhere. But perhaps let's not wait till upfronts to let everyone know that those ones are safe.
Yeah, I can't wait more than a month. Like, no, I can't do it. Tell me about Dynasty now. You can wait for the rest until upfronts. I don't care. Tell me what's happening with Dynasty.